All right, we got a new look at the Lost Caverns of Ixalan meta here today. Excited to break it down, and 1 to 2 days in here for the new meta for December. So thank you for tuning in, as always, here on our weekly series of Friday Night Meta. Down below, you'll find the timestamps where I'll walk through each of the formats, best of 1 and best of 3. We'll talk a little bit about the latest and greatest changes, as we always do, and equip you for all the key information to help keep you on the top of your game. With that, I just want to say, if you got a question or comment throughout, do let me know, because I'd love to hear from you. On top of that, come swing by the Discord server and join our active community there. All right, here we go. Standard meta, standard best of 1. And quickly before we get into it, I missed last week because we were out on a family vacation, and happy to be back this week with this latest and greatest information. So when it comes to standard best of 1, we're going to take a look at, and across all these formats, what happened kind of over the last 2 weeks, and then additionally where we're at today. So with that, this is exactly what we're looking at right now. Mono white humans at the top, 4-color domain, Selesnya enchantments, mono red aggro, Azor's control in there, dimmer control in there, mono black aggro, and Gruul dinosaurs. Now very close to that 50%. Things we'll see continue to move around. We'll talk about that here in a second. Mono red aggro, though, being one of the most played lists. Mono white humans second, in Selesnya enchantments third, really making up that core piece. Then kind of the rest there trailing. And as we dig down into it here, you can see a lot of those changes that happened over the last 2 weeks. Most of the stuff is fairly standard in terms of what was going on previously. Just a little bit of a switch here between humans and Selesnya enchantments in terms of popularity, but we do see a nice rise there, so we'll continue to keep an eye on some of these things. Additionally, here we do have that Gruul dinosaurs, the other lists that we talked about. We just played mono black aggro. You can check that one out. I really enjoyed Selesnya, or not Selesnya, mono white angels, and we've done mono white humans that you can check out so far on the channel. Here you can see win rates over time. Dimmer control hasn't been doing well, except it's popped up here very well at the beginning. So we'll keep an eye on some of these lists and things that are happening in terms of win rates. You can again see what's been real tight here between mono white humans and Selesnya enchantments plus mono red, but then we do see a lot of these other entries in here in terms of what's going on. So we'll keep an eye on these things for best of 1. Nothing new really in the mythic, so we'll leave that be for now. Let's move to best of 3. Here's what we got going on in best of 3. 4-color domain, Boros Convoke in there, Esper midrange, Gruul aggro, Golgari midrange, Azor soldiers, mono red aggro, and Gruul dinosaurs. Esper midrange, 4-color domain, huge there in terms of play. The rest kind of all on its own. You can see these trends here when it comes to Esper midrange. Boom. Same with 4-color domain. Boom. Everything else very tight here in terms of popularity. And then here you can see what's going on as well in terms of some of this other stuff. That Gruul aggro is doing well there. Boros Convoke in terms of those win rates, everything resetting. 4-color domain, everything else here, you can see what's happening in terms of some of those win rates as we get out early out of the gate. So that is standard. Let's go ahead and check out Alchemy. Alchemy best of 1. Here's what we got. Azor soldiers, dimmer toxic, mono black Nazgul, mono red aggro, Boros equipment, dimmer fairies in there, 5-color legends, and Mardu mid-range. Mono red being well ahead of the pack in terms of popularity, Nazgul in there, and everything else kind of similar. Here again, we see a lot of popularity in terms of what's happening and right out of the gates. So you can see some of that stuff in terms of trending, similar in terms of win rates there as well down below. Let's go ahead and see what's happening in best of 3. Best of 3, Esper Dollmaker, Mardu midrange. Here's what we have in terms of that play as well, so that you can see that. All right, so very quick there in terms of Alchemy. Let's go ahead and see what's happening in historic. We do have Azor's control at the top. Teamer combo. Is it Wizards falling definitely my accent there, the top place here, which has been long going. We got mono green elves, 4-color leyline in there, mono black midrange, dimmer mill, and teamer gate. So a few different things popping in here in historic now right out of the gates for best of 1. Is it Wizards still being one of the most played? 4-color leyline in there, being pretty heavily played as well. So lots of things for us to keep an eye on. And here again, you see that Is it Wizards popping down in terms of that popularity post Ixalan here, but then again popping back up. That 4-color ley line again, as we see 5-color ley line things for us to keep an eye on. And then here again, you see what's happening. Azorius Control, is it Wizards? Again, Wizards just kind of falling out here out of flavor with the new release. So that's pretty big to pay attention to. We'll keep an eye on this meta as it continues to unfold for us, as we always do. All right, let's check out best of 3. Here's what's going on in best of 3. Golgari Yawgmoth, Simic Merfolk, Mono Green Devotion, Is It Wizards, and Azorius Control. Good to see some of those things changes around. Here again, popularity pretty solid there for those 5 lists. Again, big things here with popularity over time. We see those pieces. And then again, that win rate, Is It Wizards, kind of coming back. Out of the gate, though, not necessarily. So things for us to keep an eye on in terms of evolution as we get into December here. All right, so that concludes Historic for us. We're into our last best of 1 and best of 3 here with Explorer. So what do we have going on in Explorer? We got Abzan Explorer, Boros Convoke, Boros Heroic, Mono Green Devotion, Azorius Control, Selesnya Angels, Rakdos Midrange, and Abzan Greasefang. On the right, domination by that Abzan Explorer, Azorius Control in there, Abzan Greasefang, Selesnya Angels, Boros Convoke, Boros Heroic. Pretty solid in terms of what we're seeing, though, for the top 8, which is always good. Pretty tight. Ixalan, you can see, made a few changes there. We do see Abzan Greasefang, Selesnya Angels, a big pop there with Control. Obviously, Rakdos Midrange, some of these other lists in there too. So big things for us to pay attention to. Win rates over time. There you go. Abzan, Boros Convoke, lot Mono White Humans, Boros Heroic, and everything else down here as well. So we'll continue to see how some of this stuff shifts around in Explorer best of 1. Let's check out best of 3. Here for best of 3, we do have Rakdos Sacrifice, Mono Green Devotion, Azorius Control, Abzan Explorer still, or an Explorer list, Rakdos Midrange, Abzan Greasefang, Mono White Humans, and Convoke just not doing well. Yeah, you can see the rest here in terms of popularity. Heavy on Rakdos Midrange and Abzan Explorer. Here you go, Rakdos Midrange, boom. Rakdos, Mono Green Devotion, everything else there in terms of popularity. And then here again, win rates, Mono White's doing fairly well, fairly steady. Relative to everything else bouncing around in there, but we do see a big jump in that Rakdos, Mono Green Devotion, Azorius Control, Abzan Explorer, as we see up here as well. So that concludes Explorer. Let's go ahead and see what's happening in Historic, my friends. Historic, we got Roscoe, we got the first sliver, we do have Pantlaza, Stun Favored, that's a new one here. Itali, Emoti, Goshen Tai, Golos in there, and Gishath, Sun's Avatar. So lots of things moving around here. Great to see this. There's the new one that we saw here right out of the gates from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. And here we go. We continue to see that. So that's nice in terms of popularity. Some of the new things like we talked about as well. And then here we see with the win rates, Ragavan just kind of moving back away, Roscoe kind of going sideways, and everything else in there kind of bouncing around as always. So that, my friends, is new and exciting here for the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I hope you've enjoyed today's breakdown into the meta for us as always, and we'll pull it back here to standard best of 1 so that we can conclude today's episode. With that, I just want to say I hope you enjoyed it. Lots of changes, lots of shifts going on. We'll keep an eye on it as things move around. We got a lot more lists here and Magic the Gathering content on the channel and more coming all the time. With that, I also just want to say questions, comments, let me know as always. Feel free to swing by the Discord server. Great way to stay in the know and ask questions. Great active community. And with that, thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. I appreciate the likes and the subs as we grow this amazing community. On top of that, we got memberships available to you down below. Thank you to all the members for that support. And lastly, we do have affiliate links and other links for you to check out. Great ways to support the channel here if you're looking for cards, all that kind of stuff. With that, I hope you enjoyed our breakdown here for our Friday Night Meta, the weekly series here on the channel. We got a ton more Magic the Gathering content headed your way all the time. And feel free to come join us because we have a great time as always. So with that said, I wish you the best of luck as things evolve here in December, and a early happy holidays for everyone, because we are getting close and it's getting cold. so I can feel it in my bones. With that, we'll see you again soon. Till next week, at least for this. And in the meantime, we got more coming your way. Mythras out of here. Best of luck with the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We'll see you again soon, and good luck in the December meta. Take care.